Hello and welcome back. Solar Factory episode 20. Alright, so gonna make a slight tweak. I was going to build more and more belt runs and have them come out of that main factory area, out of that one and out of this one, and have them crisscrossing and all that sort of stuff. But I made a bit of a decision that I'm going to slightly change, not to change the overall idea, but to change the order in which I'm going to build things in. The reason of that is I started to sit down and look at these belt runs that are coming out of this factory, and also the three that are coming from this factory, and also rubber, which actually comes from way down over there on the other side of the map, basically. Because I sort of determined that maybe my plan of having all these belts coming in here and splitting off them and all that kind of stuff across these 3 or 4 levels was not really going to be particularly feasible or practical in terms of the actual build. So what I'm deciding to do now is, rather than concentrating on these belt runs and getting them all redone, is I'm actually going to work on the actual central storage area first. The reason for that is twofold. One, it'll actually allow me to set it up so that it'll actually function in the interim. I can manually feed stuff in it because I've got a whole bunch of things already in here. I could repurpose this and just redo it, but I want to actually build a dedicated, a more dedicated tower. But also what it'll mean is it'll allow me to design how I want it to actually function in isolation from the rest of the factory. What I mean with that is, it'll allow me to actually build in the overflow mechanics of it, so I can actually start feeding stuff to it. At the moment, I've got, as you can see, I've got these two. We've got heavy modular frames in front of us here and circuit boards back there, and they're all coming into here and overflowing, and they go to there and stop. And you can see there's a mixture of boards and frames are mixed in there, because that's really what they're just producing too much. Now these are using it at a very slow rate, because that's what the requirement is for the whatever was being made over there. I can't remember. But it means I have got this massive backlog. Now they will be overflowing in their individual production towers, so no issue there. The machines will still be functioning. But we sort of have just got this sort of sitting in limbo now. So, ooh, there's a creature there. So what I'm going to do is build out this a sort of a prototype of the storage area, because I want to be able to prove that I can actually sort out the overflow within the boundaries of the central area. Because what I may end up changing is, rather having all these individual runs coming out of here and splitting, I'll leave them individual runs going to where they need to be to go into other production towers, but I may have one single belt coming out of each section, so one out of this whole area, one out of this whole area, one out of that whole area, going into a central incoming point into the production, into the storage area, and using programmable splitters, split things around the environment around the particular storage tower area, and use overflow in there. So that's kind of where I'm now thinking of doing it. But to be able to know that's going to work, is I need to be able to build a bit of a prototype of the tower itself. So we've got 3 things in here. So we've got these 5 splits here. All of them actually coming out into here, into a single incoming. So you've got plastic coming out of there, crystals out of that one, and rubber, aluminum casings coming out on, plus circuit boards and heavy modular frames. This is kind of going to be what we might end up having. Is we'll have a single. We might just have 3 belt runs come out, one out of each production area, joined to one big run that goes into the storage area, and I'll need to use smart splitters and programmable splitters to send resources to particular parts of the production storage tower in order to actually get rid of them so they don't just bank up behind that area. So this thing's actually full, so that's not going to help us much at the moment. So what I think we're going to do is, I'm not too worried about where this actually goes per se, because I can easily kind of move it around with a bit of work. But if we were to keep this same pattern we've got here, we've got one coming out of there, one coming out of that one out of that one into this one, and join into a merger in the middle of this, basically in the middle of that, into that area there, and then have one belt run come out into the storage area. We might decide that we just have a single belt run come out, and we'll have the tower, the input into the production tower might be somewhere where that storage container is. Meaning that this will be the middle of this tower. Now you can actually see we've got a fair bit of stuff to store. So we've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh god, I cannot count. Sadly, if I do the dismantle, actually we just do that. So we've got 180, which means we've got 9 containers, because each one takes 20. And I think this one looks like it might also be 9. Oh, one of those actually is... 2 of those are actually beams in that, so that's 100 and that's 7, so there's another 9 there, so that's 18. And then, how many have we got across here? 500, I think. Does that mean we've got 25 there? Divide by 20, my bad. Yeah, we've got 25 there. So 18 plus 25 is... I didn't think there'd be maths today. That's 13. That's 43 containers so far in this area. And that's basically got everything you need. There's not much that I'm missing from here. In fact, there's already, I think there might even be a couple of spares in here. That's a mixed one that's got some stuff. Yeah, it's got a bit of stuff in it. But not everything that we have been made in this whole area is actually being stored there. So there actually are a couple of things that we'll need to... I'm trying to think how big this is, how many we're going to need. Let's just jump over here. So not everything is stored, but if we count up everything that is being made, we'll get an idea of at least how big the factory is going to be. How big the storage area needs to be. So each one of these has their own storage in each production town. That's not going to change. And that's kind of how it's probably going to ultimately work. So you can see if I go back up here, there's the awesome sink for that one. So each one's got its own. If we just go, each production tower has its own awesome sink. Right, so each building is a production. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 2 rows of 8. 2 rows of 4, sorry, for 8, 2 rows of 3 for 6, and 2 on the front makes that. So we've got 16 buildings in that block. Let's go over here. We've got 9, 11 over there. And how many have we got here? I think we've also got 11. Oh, no, we don't. We've got more than that. We've also got 11. 4 at the front and 3 at the back makes another 11. So 11 and 11 is 22, plus 16 is 37? 22... just double... That's 11 plus 16... Yeah, 38 buildings. So it's interesting, I've got more production, more storage over here. And I do actually have things I'm making. Well, I thought that would have been the other way around, actually. But there, as I said, there are some things that we are making we aren't storing, but there are some extra ones. So let's just have a check what we've got here. So batteries aren't being made here, they're being belted in, and they do go into where literally that big double building there is where the batteries go. I'm not even making that anywhere, so that's some sort of fabric or something, isn't it? Fabric? I think it might just literally be called fabric. Cable's been made over there. This is not being made anymore. There's actually a whole bunch of towers on construction underneath. That's been made. They're all been made. They're being made. They're not being made here, but they are, I think, being shipped in and used elsewhere. Wires been made. That's been made. They're not being made. They're not probably being made to excess at the moment, which is interesting. So probably what we need to think about, so maybe if we aim at about 40 to 50 containers, but make it so I can expand it if I need to. So that we'll probably want to therefore have a sort of a layered structure to it. And do we want it like that, so it's 10 each side, for example? You just have belt runs going around it all. Is that what we do? And then we can just build another row, another floor of 10 each, you know, another floor of 20, and then a floor of 20, and just keep going up and up as we need to. Alright, that's probably a good starting point. So let's just aim for that. Brilliant. Let's just build those, dismantle all this stuff. And get rid of that, making sure not to take out the power pole. Right. Okay. So remember, that's going to be undercover. So actually we want that across there. And we'll just go this way to begin with. So remember, it's going to come into... So that's the top level, so it probably won't necessarily come in there, but... Let's just see if we can build something. So, if we have... So currently we've got this belt run that comes in basically in from there. So let's just build this out a bit further. Once I think I have a design, I'll then go away and start building it up. Right, so okay, so that's now coming to there. And if we were to have... Actually, let's just build that out that way. Build that to there, that to there, that to there. And let's build... a storage container. So we want the input to be on the back. I'll need to offset this a bit, so let's just see. So we build 5 going that way. And 5 going that... Oh, we can't build it. Can't afford it. What am I missing? Beam, a bit of steel beam. Right, let's go get some steel beam. I happen to have a heap, but it's just sitting over here. Right. So that could be the start of our first set of 10. We'd have a bit in the gap in the middle, maybe 2 and a bit, maybe a third one. Something like that. And you'd have the other 10 on that side, and there's your footprint of the building, at least at a some sort of level. So what we now need to do is have this come in, come down, and come into a smart splitter. Now, what needs to also happen is a series of belts need to be set up to have overflow, so that when they do get which we can be a smart splitter. So let's make that 7 and that 8. Where is that finished in that? Yeah, good. So if we have a smart splitter in there, which is input coming in, which is correct. Input coming in, input coming in, input coming in on all of these. And likewise there, and there. And we decide that, so this one is now going to come into them into here. We might have it drop down. It might even come in at that level, depending on how I do the rest of that. But as I said, there's a bit of a proof of concept at the moment. So we have that. We'll have this coming down, and then we'll have it. Have it coming. Have it come into there. So there's our point. So that can come down. Flip around that way. Now, does it line up with one of those? I probably should have actually done it so that it did. Alright. Should have seen that, obviously. Put that back in. So let's build a container. What does I want to have with a container? There it is. Is that right? Yeah. The one in the centre. Maybe go 5 either side. Let's see. We maybe have 22 each deck. We'll see how that goes. Right. So now we've come down for that. So for a start, okay, that's not going to be enough room because we need our. We have to push. So we have our smart splitter come in there because we're going to have overflow going in one certain direction. So that's too far forward. Give it more space for me to do the thing we need to do. So we'll go back to there. And we'll have. Put that on the end. That should, yep, go right into that smart splitter. If we were doing that, we're not. That comes into that. Cool. Right. Actually. So now we need a programmable splitter on the front of it. We just need the one. What do I need? Supercomputer. Luckily, they're just around the corner. Just, where are they? There. Look. Autosave's kicked in. Don't have any biofuel for it. I think I have some over here somewhere. Yes. Get rid of this tree so we can. Let's get rid of that so we can work a bit. Okay, so we've got something coming out of that, and then we put a programmable splitter here. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go programmable splitter, comes in there. And then we'll need a set of... So what have we got in here again? We've got circuit board, yeah, so if we were to go, for example, we go... Center output can be circuit boards. And then on, so the advantage of the programmable splitter is you can actually have multiple items going down a particular output. The smart splitters only do one, so we only need one. Oh, actually, no, we need more than that. We're going to need a bunch of them. Actually, maybe we don't. Let me think. Maybe we don't. So let's go. So we've got 5 things in here. We've got we go circuit boards in the middle. Then the left-hand side will go can be heavy modular frames, and also plastic. I'm not too sure why that just went into the photo mode. It did. Ooh, plastic. And we'll also go... That's 2 items that way, so that's fine. We'll do that. And then on the right hand side we will do the quartz crystal. What's the other things over there? I can't remember. Oh. Heavy modular frames, circuit boards, plastic. Ah, that's right, those aluminiums and casings, right. I really hope I didn't lose all that stuff I just did. No, and we'll do aluminium casings that way. So now what will happen is when they come in, they'll go their particular directions. And this one will just be, center will be the circuit board, because that's what's going to go into that one, and we'll go left will be overflow. We'll put a belt there and a belt there. And then we'll need another regular splitter or smart splitter that way. So left will be anything, right will be plastic. So it comes out of that, goes into that. We then have another smart splitter there. It's going to get a bit messy, but I think this will work. And again, overflow to the left, the actual item in the middle. So now we've got that going. Then we do another smart splitter there, and another smart splitter there. Join that to that, that to that, that to that. Oh, actually. That's a splitter. That's not right at all. Yeah, okay, that's not gonna work. Okay. Okay, that's not gonna work. You can't split into that, you gotta merge it. So, where can we put the overflow? Maybe I actually need to use programmable splitters along the way. Let's just do the basics of this. Got one in there, got one in there. Let's just do this at a first glance, just make sure this basic concept will work. Oh, that's interesting. So what are we going to do? So what do we got? We'll do... What have we got coming this way again? We've got raw quartz and casing. So the first one we'll do quartz. We'll go left will be the quartz. Oops. Quartz crystal. Anything will go that way. So that'll mean any undefined will go that way. That's probably what you want. And then here you'll do left will be the aluminium casings. And that's that. In fact, I should change that to be any undefined. So, and we've got all that going there. So let's just see what happens when we do this. Okay. Oops, I didn't do right to be heavy modular frame. Okay. So what's been stuck there? So you can see the circuit board has gone into that one there. Plastic and that's gone in, so it's gone in that okay. But why has the raw quartz not gone that way? It's definitely the raw quartz that's causing the problem. Let's just do that and see if that makes something flow, because there might be something that I've got that I don't take into account. Okay. That's weird, the aluminium casing went into it, so the concept is sort of working, but I'm curious as to why. Why is this casing... Oh, I know why. It should be none, it's a splitter. Sorry, I've just completely forgotten the fundamental bit of what a splitter does. So, I thought that would have... So the split... So a splitter, kind of by its name, it has an input, a single input and 3 outputs. It will send anything from the input in a rotating basis through the 3 outputs. So that's why I had to set none for that last one. Otherwise, it was just going to keep putting the circuit board, the aluminium casings out that other one. So that's kind of proving the concept in that we can actually have the stuff come into it. And it'll go through all of these merge. This program splitter would be expanded clearly. If we come on the other side, you can actually do a bit of a trick with the idea. The little trick to do this little idea is actually a little bit of a play with how the game sort of does things. So first thing you need to do is actually build a foundation underneath this one. So basically what you do is you do this, and you build across there, then you dismantle the ones on top. So you've got that. And then you build your output coming down and just coming down onto where you want it to be, like for example that. It'll come out like this. And then you dismantle what's underneath, including that, and then you put your foundation back in again. It'll do, and it'll look like that. So it looks like it sort of melds into the floor. It's a really neat little effect, a little neat little idea. So I think that's going to work. Now my issue is, now how does the overflow, if one of these gets full, that's the problem. Because if they get full, they will back up on their particular belt. I don't think with what we're spitting out we actually are going to ever have it be full, although what we could do here is just walk up to this one and where's the heavy modular frame one? That one, so let's start populating that. That's already quite full. So we'll just take this and fill this one up. I just want to see what happens when one of these gets full, because what I think will happen, that's now full. So now when it comes across into here, now that's obviously going to be if there's actually anything. Left that. Okay, so that one is full, but we don't have any excess at the moment, which is probably a good thing, really. So we've cleared the backlog from all of those. The heavy modular frames are shipped in, they're not made here. That's another one that gets droned in. Oh, this is a weird thing. I don't know if this is a bug or what. But they're just not moving. I've had this happen before. What's happening? It comes out of that, and what, the belts aren't connected properly? I actually doesn't think they're in there because there's nothing coming out of that. Okay, so we don't have. See, that should be overflow. Oh, wait a second, that's not going to work. Heavy modular frames to the centre. Oh, so is that smart splitter not working? What's going on here? Right. Where do they come from again? Come in. So by default they should go out the belt. If that's backed up, overflow to the left and right to fill up those individual containers, which is fine. So why is that not working? Let's bulldoze that. Okay. Let's go back up top here and just see what the hell is going on. I think they come in via a drone, don't they? Yeah. We just so happen to have once, so we drop into incoming. Goes through that. Correct. I have seen that a couple of times now. I'm not too sure if that's a bug with update 8. Haven't read about that, if I'm honest, on the various forums and official wikis and stuff. I might have to do that after this session, just to see if I can figure out what's going on there. So we should now have... They're not backed up, they're not in there, so I'm going to make the assumption that they actually went out. Okay, so now they're in here. Well, they were. They're probably backed up to that legitimately, I think. Let's see what happens here. So if they were legitimately backed up, I would expect to see... If they actually got to here, they should be... Alright, so you see how they are just there. There's one sitting on that belt just there. So that's full. And that's the concern I've got. I need to be able to figure out what to do with the overflow into each container. Because everything else here is actually working really well. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. We've got all of these things populating, we've got stuff coming out of here as needed, so that concept from that perspective is working now. You see, now we've got some backing up, now we've got a problem. This is the problem, because now everything's backed up because those frames can't get through. So, how do we... I know how to solve it. You need to have an overflow. But, where do you put the overflow? You can't really put it there because that's going to block it unless we have... Unless we space them out a bit more. Because the idea would be you have... The idea would be you have an overflow out of each of these first ones here, and they would merge into another belt run, so you'd merge them all into one. And then once you've merged them into the one belt, you can then feed them all to an awesome sink, and that would be what you'd do. You'd have maybe an awesome sink, depending on which way you went, you might have an awesome sink at the end of each row of containers, for example. You can't do overflow out of that because overflow is just overflow, so anything would go that way, and you still want to have the actual individual containers full, so you want the overflow to be at this point. You don't want overflow to happen with say here, for example, then you'd be emptying out your plastics with it potentially. But if I did have overflow there, that would mean that actually that might be the way to do it. Maybe that's the way to do it. Have overflow at this point. So we have overflow going to the right. So we had overflow coming to the right here. You could do let's see what would happen if we added a merger in there, for example. We had this coming out and going that way. And then we had this continuing along here. Okay, let's see what happens if we were to... Actually, let's just build the awesome sink here. I think I've got enough things to make it. It's under special. Awesome sync. Yes, we do. Line it up. Put it. This is just proof of concept, nothing more. So we'll just plonk that into there. You're close enough. And we'll give you some power. Alright. Yeah, so there's your problem, because so you'd also need to have so if we go and have a belt run that way and still have overflow going to the right, so the plastic is still getting through. The problem would be if you had, so for example, if we stop this, and just for the sake of what we're trying to do here, had, get rid of those three, add the raw crystal on this side. Why can't I choose that? Oh, right. Raw quartz there, add an item, make it aluminium casing, and make it so that they, just for the hell of it, went that way. So this would be any undefined, that would be overflow, that would be aluminium casing, for example. And then that would be raw quartz, overflow that way. How's that? Stuffed up. So really, okay. So left output is everything, circuit boards to the middle. So why is that not? There's a heavy modular frame in there. For some reason it's not. Oh, there's a bug with these things at the moment that they're just not functioning the way I think they should. So left, we're going to make it aluminium casing. We're going to add an item. It's going to be heavy modular frame. We're going to add an item. Raw quartz. We're going to add an item. Plastic. We're going to add an item there, and that's going to be circuit board. Done. So that one. Join that to that. Join that into that. And it just stops. Why? Why are you stopping? Oh, bugger. Shouldn't matter what order they're listed in. I don't believe it does. Ah. That one. So it's actually in there. So it's got a heavy modular frame, plastic, it's got everything. So it's got plastic, the only thing it doesn't have is circuit board. Although I don't know if it actually needs... What does it need to make one? Paint. Okay, so it needs a heavy modular frame, so that won't actually be in there. But the plastic casing and the quartz crystal are, the three on the left thing, are actually the things that need to make it. So if I just do that for the sake of this, is that, are these bugged? Because that should just feed everything to the left. Anything goes to the left, and it's not doing that. I am very confused. This is kind of fundamental to what I want this thing to do. If it doesn't work, I'll have to rethink everything, but this should work because that's what it's meant to do. So that's done raw quartz, and it's not going that way. Aluminium casing. Let's do aluminium casing. And plastic is the left, right, center. Why does it not work? Even if I say anything to left, center or right, it doesn't move. Hmm. Just stopped and had a look on the internet to see if I could find something about programmable splitters not functioning, and I couldn't find anything, so implication being that something I'm doing is not quite right, and I'm not too sure what it is. Raw quartz to the left, casing to the left, plastic to the left, circuit boards in front. Overflow to the right. Oh, now you're doing it. Oh, that was weird. I wonder if it was actually sort of stuck in a way. Okay, so now we've got... Okay, so for some reason the quartz is still going to... So any undefined is there. Any undefined is there. And there's the raw quartz. Any undefined. So why is that considering that overflow? So it's raw quartz again. Ah, so I've got heavy modular frames in the mix, that's why. I didn't realise they're in there. Okay, so something's not right here. Because now it's putting everything to the left when it shouldn't be. So maybe I need to set this up to have nothing go that way. Because the circuit board should go straight through. So, what is the issue here? Oh, cool. Is it an order thing? Can you change the order? If I go heavy modular frame, drop that, nothing happens. What else would go any undefined and get rid of those three? Okay, so now the stuff is going through and flowing through. But the programmer splitter says undefined element casings to the right. Maybe that's been my issue that I've had. Alright, let's just get rid of this for a second. Okay. Merge. No, I want to merge it, not split it. I want to merge it. No, did not want that planted there. That way, so we go that way. That programmable slitter is not putting the raw. Oh, I've got the wrong bloody thing, idiot. That's probably why this thing was never working. I had the wrong thing against it. God damn it. It was quartz crystal I needed, not raw quartz. Oh, did not even pick up that I had the wrong item in there. Okay, so does appear to be working as I want it to now. I'm just not too sure we've actually got any of the heavy modular frames coming in much these at the moment. Let's have a look to see if the... Okay, so they're not... Why is that because they're not getting a look in? Actually, why is that not letting me pick them up? That's a bit odd. Normally when you've got them backed up like that, you can literally pick them off the belt. So if I walk up to those circuit boards, I can pick up circuit board from the belt. For some reason, it's not letting me do that. It's like they're actually not there. So that one I can. Oh, that's really odd. Where can I... Oh, okay. Okay, we can pick them up. What happens when it gets to here? Oh! Oh, weird. That was really weird. Okay. Okay. I am not really sure what's going on here. So we should start to see. Yeah, okay, so I think that's working. So all that plastic is coming out, it's letting stuff through. I really want to see what happens when... Actually, I can probably do something like this to figure this out. So I don't know any... Have we got any other casings? I think I've got some in here somewhere. Yes, we're basically just about full. So let's just grab all of these. And put them in there. So I want to know what happens when there's two things that are backed up. Does it actually... Now it should start to back up, and it is. Actually, plastic isn't far away. So now the overflow, you can see the casings are going to the left there. What I'm concerned about is, does the raw quartz crystal... No, that goes straight through. Okay. So because that's allowing it to... Actually, so we make that quartz crystal, which it should be. The other way to do this would maybe to have more programmable splitters in the way. So that change would be you'd have a programmable splitter. You have a programmable splitter on each of those there, and they would progressively let less things through. So you've got this one letting all 4 things through. So let's try that. So if we go that, let's get rid of each of... Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. And we'll have to get rid of these just to make this easier. I'm not sure I can actually build one at the moment. There, and there. So the first one is plastic, so this program will allow quartz crystal per heavy modular frames and aluminium casings go through. To the right we will have plastic. Here we've got another one, so we want heavy modular frames out to the right, so we would add that in. Heavy modular frame. This one we would allow quartz crystal and aluminium casings to go through. And this one we would have aluminium casings that way and quartz crystal going straight through. Close enough, but not what I was after. That one. And that we would allow quartz. Oop. Quartz crystal to go to the right. And go overflow. You can see a bit of quartz crystals in there though, you see? So this is what I was trying to test. So now you've got the belts into the casings backed up. I think the fact that we can see crystal there is just a graphical bug. It's not actually there. But this one is now filled. So if we now go overflow to the right or left and have that merge that way, now you can see that's coming through. So you'd always have to have an overflow. Always have to have an overflow here, I think. Yeah, now you see that's now pushing the heavy modular frames out to the left. So you'd have to have an overflow at all points. Have we cleared this backlog now? No. So, I think that's going to work in concept. I think it will work in concept. So, I do actually have some raw crystal. I don't have enough to fill it up that container though. Plastic is now 70% full. So you don't actually need these now. Just go straight into it. So that is basically proved that this will work, and if I just had not realised I hadn't put the right material in there, I was putting in raw quartz rather than quartz crystal. That's the reason why I thought, that's the reason why I thought they were bugged, was because of me, that they weren't working. But now we've got that functioning, that is working exactly how I want it to. And we actually can now make that a little bit of a smaller footprint too, because we can bring the programmable splitter way closer. So in other words, we should be able to bring the programmable splitter right up into the front of that. What I may end up doing is having this bit of a crude attempt to see how this would actually work. And so far we've got everything basically. In fact, I can trim it even further because I've got a bunch of plastic in here. Let's just go grab a bunch. And what we'll do is we'll fill up that plastic container. Which is actually that one. Now if we get any more plastic coming in, it should start to fill up that belt. Some modular frames coming in. Yeah, so they've filled up that belt. Now they're overflowing to the left. The casings are still going through. They're overflowing to the left. So that's exactly what I want it to do. I'm not sure I probably could do it without the programmable splitters, but I've got a little bit more control over what I want to happen, so I think we'll keep them in the mix. But what you could do now is bring this initial programmable splitter basically right to there. See if this copy settings things works. Yep. That's backed up, so we can pre-program that. So what you would do now, I suspect, is... Oh, there's some plastic coming in. And if I actually had this built in... so let's actually get rid of that, and actually get rid of that, 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 and that. Let's just right. Okay. So I didn't take that programmable splitter into action. Oops. So why does that bring up the bloody... Excuse me. Plastic. Quartz crystal this time. Aluminium. Casing and heavy modular frame. Now get rid of all of this stuff. And one of them at each one of those. That's not the way I wanted that to go. How the hell I ended up over here? Alright, let's check this in to see what's going on here, because this has still got some weird behaviour. So I think the fact that we can see those frames there and I can't pick them up means they're actually not there. But I can pick these ones up. So that is some weird graphical bug there where those things are still actually visible. So yeah, that is really odd, that bug there. Yeah, I think that's an update 8 thing, maybe an update 7 that's caused that. Because yeah, that is really kind of odd. Make sure we are in fact getting... There we are, okay. With the belts being so blurry now, they weren't like that in the past. It's kind of hard to even see things actually on them. So I'm pretty sure there's groups of 4 or 5 belt boards coming out. Now they go really blurry. They all should be coming that way, but because they're going pretty quick, because I've got a pretty fast belt there. It's a Mark 5 belt, so it's the fastest it can go. I think it's just blurry. So I think our proof of concept here has worked. It's a little bit messy. This awesome sink is not where it's going to be. There probably may well be one per floor of this setup. So what this has proved is we can do what I want to do. So that will change what we do. So we may get rid of these various splits here. What we may end up doing is just having, maybe even, yeah, as I said, probably on the most likely on the very bottom level of this, whatever that might be, the third one in now, we'll have one belt coming out of that factory over to the north, a single one coming out of the west here, another one out of the south. That will merge into a single one again, like this one does. Come into a single incoming point on the in the storage building. I'm using a set of programmable splitters, or split it to the upper floors, or even might even just be that you have it going. You might even have something at the very end here that then splits it up and goes up a conveyor belt lifter to the next level, and that goes across, left to right from this direction, and that feeds that series of belts, and then containers then splits again or programs again. So you can end up having 30 to 40 things in each of these things. Now, according to what I was reading before when I was trying to figure out if that was a bug I was dealing with, but in fact it was me. I was the bug. I think it's 64 programmable entries. I think it was either overall or per output. I couldn't quite really tell what they were getting at. Either way, I think if it's 64 total, we're okay, because we're not going to have that much coming into it. I think we're looking at maybe 40 to 50 items coming into on this single belt. So yeah, I think we're looking good. We may in fact even to have it coming like that. You really do want it to. I have to think about this, whether I want it to split it left and right, or come in and just split one way and have it just sort of loop around. I think I'll split it the way I've got it. I think I can still deal with it. So what this will now mean, what this will now mean is ultimately you can actually get rid of the storage at each building, but I think I'll keep the production tower. I think I'll keep that, even though theoretically you can get rid of it. So that's aluminum casings, for example. So yeah, so what this basically means is we'll build a underneath here where all of these things are coming out. Some are going elsewhere, some are being split and already. So for example, we've got the heavy modular frames, which I think might potentially still be a little bit bugged. But that comes out of here, which is where it actually is coming from here. And that splits that way to, I think, the cooling system, I think, uses it, if I recall. Or fused modular frames, one or the other. Probably fused modular frames now I think about it. And that gets used by them, by those two buildings. And then it splits this way to go down to the far end, which is used for something. So that will involve having a third split off here. And that's the one that will join the main belt run to the storage container, storage area. So there'll be sort of a bit of that. So for example, this heat sinks, which is coming out of over here, that'll need a splitter to come off it and send it to the main area. And as I said, if I can just build it to the point where I can just add layers as I add more things into the storage location, that means it should be somewhat scalable. And I won't have to rebuild it every single time I add more new items and go, oh. So, in theory, it should work. Famous last words. But that will probably do for episode 20. I did want to sort of have a bit of a change of direction, just to make sure that what I was thinking of doing was going to work. And I think ultimately this won't be the way we do it going forward. With all these things splitting. We will stop that. We'll just have it going to the location it's got to go to, and we'll end up creating a single belt run out of each factory area, north, south, and west, and they will contain all the items from that area coming to a single merge belt like this is doing here, coming to a central point, and then using a series of programmable splitters. It will do what this is doing, where it's coming across and feeding each of these things individually. Anything that is true overflow will go through into an awesome sink. And there might be one per floor, there might be one overall, it depends on how much overflow we end up with, whether we need to do one, because you can actually overload the awesome sink. Potentially, at least. So I think I'm good. I think this has proved our setup. This will work. We've got 11. I think I've done. Yeah, 11. So I've got 2 rows of 11 on each floor. So 22 per floor. We'll have multiple levels of it. Now this ultimately is probably going to actually may even come in on this level, and we'll go straight into that first programmable splitter. So this whole setup here with the multiple layers and this conveyor belt probably won't be a thing ultimately, but that will allow us to build another level on top of this. We'll just have a single conveyor belt run come into it. Probably literally like it is there, just one split run coming in. So all 3 of these want to merge at one point, come out in here. And I think that will work. So, yeah, so next episode, we will go back to the belts, basically, and we'll continue making these belt runs. We'll get rid of these splits. I'll keep the splits in place for the time being, because they are in fact doing their job. So we'll keep these splits in place, as we've got them. We'll deal with the belt runs from over here. But now I don't have to worry about splitting them off. I can just make the belt runs go where they need to go. So the ones that are being, for example, these two, which are coming from our factory in the north, they'll just go straight through. Won't worry about splitting them off. Rubber, same thing. Well, as I said, where they all come into at that entry, that's where we'll do the split into a production tower belt run. Till then, that's episode 20 of Solar Factory. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, see you later.